Hello everybody, welcome to StraightA, Dawson here, back with another video. Today's topic of 2024 free agency. It's probably going to be like a 4 or 5 part video where I'm going to break down different positions and kind of go through the main people who I think could be really big starters, or at least really big names for a lot of these positions. I didn't want to go through every single one of them. There's like obviously 50 wide receivers on the market, but I'm not going to go through all of them. But today I'm going over the quarterbacks and the offensive line today, of just some of the mainstays, some of the big names out there, to kind of see where they're going to go and predict their landing spots. So if you enjoy the video, please leave a like down below and subscribe to the channel if you have not already. Comment down any suggestions you have for the channel as well. So again, this is me just kind of saying, hey, there's this person, here's where I think they'll go, and I give a second choice just in case, just in case I want some brownie points later for saying, oh, they might go here. I'll give some of my reasonings. I didn't do a big super research into this, but it's going to be about, like I said, a 4 or 5 part series, so let's get right into the video. First up is Kirko. I think this one's kind of easy and to the point. Whoops, wrong way. I think he just re-signs with the Vikings. I don't really see a world where he doesn't want to come back to the Vikings. The Vikings are not in a good position to draft anybody of substantial value at quarterback. Kirk Cousins is good. They are capable of winning a playoff game, if not make it to the Super Bowl, if they can just put some things together and put Kirk Cousins at the helm for another year or two. So why not re-sign him? If there is a place that does fit him outside of Minnesota, it is Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh's one of those more classic type NFL teams, and I think that he fits kind of well with that scheme. I think Mike Tomlin would like him, and as you'll see more with some other predictions, I think Steelers are kind of gearing up for more of a veteran player to join that roster more than a newbie, since they just got Kenny Pickett, and maybe they're going to stick with him. Maybe they'll try to draft somebody in the mid-rounds, but I think the Steelers are kind of stubborn with their guy, so either they're going to kind of go someone more expertly rated, or kind of have Kenny Pickett, or, go the helm, basically. Either way, though, speaking of the veteran instinct here, Ryan Tannehill, believe it or not, I do think he's still a capable starter. With the quarterbacks, I kind of just said, who of these lists do I think could start? Picked 5 of them, technically 6. We'll talk about that later. People I think that are capable starters for a team right now. And Ryan Tannehill, as much as I don't like him, I think that somebody's going to actually end up starting him. And I think it's going to be Pittsburgh. I genuinely think Pittsburgh's going to sign him. And I think he's going to start for a couple games and go in and out between Kenny Pickett and whoever else is on that roster at that point. I think Mason Rudolph is still on that roster. Or I think maybe he's on free agency. I'm not too sure. So we'll see. But Raiders are another team that's kind of an honorary mentions. I think they probably could trade up and get a good quarterback. But I kind of like the Raiders also kind of going that more classic style with the Steelers. So Tannehill's a possible landing point there, but I really feel confident about Tannehill going to the Steelers. Meanwhile, you got Baker. He's technically on the free agency. There's no way in hell he's going anywhere but Tampa Bay. He loves Tampa Bay. They gave him a shot. I think Tampa Bay likes him. He won a playoff game with them. It's kind of inevitable for him to get a better contract and get an extension. The Raiders are, again, a secondary choice. You could throw the Steelers in there, I guess, too. I think the Raiders, if they got a chance to, instead of trading up, sign Baker Mayfield, they do it in an instant, and I think that'd be a good landing spot for him. So that's kind of my secondary choice here. Moving ahead, just because I know I kind of threw in some players that are also just big names that are starters who or were starters at one point, and that's Joe Flacco. This last season, of course, he had a really extraordinary run. I think he's done. I put a question mark here because I just think he's done, period. Question mark just basically means they're retiring. I think he's done. I don't see him starting with another team. I think this season was really good. I think he kind of wants to leave it on that note and go home. I think he barely came back this season, so let him go home. Finally, 2 quarterbacks I would say have the potential to be starters. I think one of these guys will find a starting job with one of these 2 teams that I put on the board here. Carson Wentz and Sam Darnold, I think, are fine and capable quarterbacks. Sam Darnold played kind of well with the 49ers when he was there with them. So did Carson Wentz with the Rams. So I think both of them are capable. I don't necessarily, again, like them anywhere, but they're still youngish enough. I think Carson Wentz is 31 versus Sam Darnold being like 26 or something, 27. They're both got some potential to be somewhat good. So I think they go somewhere. And, oh, I didn't. Whoops. Okay, sorry, went the wrong way. I think it's either the New York Giants or the Atlanta Falcons. Both these teams are kind of in weird limbos where they really, I don't think they're going to really get, I don't think the Giants are going to move on to someone big contract-wise. And I don't think Atlanta is in the best spot to get one of the top quarterback ratings. So I just kind of put these 2 teams as the weird kind of middle child here, that they could end up with one of these 2 QBs at their helm. I like these 2 picks just because, again, I think the Giants will give up on Daniel Jones and try somebody else to the roulette, and could be one of these guys, or the Falcons will kind of give up on their escapade as well and just kind of sign these guys, see what they can do. I don't think either one's going to work out right, but either way, that's kind of my guesses right now. So I'm going to be honest with you. With the offensive line, I really just see a bunch of older guys that are near their 30s that are a tackle or a guard, and this is the only exception on screen. So we'll talk about the other guys. But Jason Kelsey, I think he's done. I think if anywhere he's going to sign at Philadelphia, he's not going to go anywhere else. I saw somewhere where he's going to go sign with the Chiefs, be with his brother. No chance in hell. I think he's retiring in the Eagle. I think he's done. I think he wanted to retire, but I think he got ruined. So we're just going to go ahead and say he's hanging up the boots and being done. As for the rest of this, so again, I'm looking at this list. I'm seeing Tyron Smith, Andrus Peat, Cody Whitehair, Dwayne Brown. Those are some bigger names. I think there's only two of those. I think Cody Whitehair and Tyron Smith, only ones I'm very familiar with. The other guys on this list are like just either kind of mid-age to the older guys. So this kind of covers both the tackle and the guard position for me anyway. Tyron Smith is a left tackle, and I think there's very few teams that are looking for an older tackle right now. I think either they're moving on from an older tackle already and hoping to draft one, or they are looking to kind of fill that gap in other ways. Basically, they're not looking to re-sign a older left tackle, which I could be totally wrong. And this is especially true with the left tackles. But I think the Bengals and the Browns are both in positions where they need some offensive line help. And I think a veteran person like Tyron Smith, and that they're able to give him a little bit of a bag, or they're able to add to the roster here and kind of make themselves even more competing. I think the Bengals are my choice here because they really need some really big help. They have a little bit of money to splash. It's a different conference, so it's a little bit easier for the free agents to move away from their team, especially like someone like Tyron Smith. So I'm going Bengals here, but Browns are also another possibility. There's a couple other teams that are kind of moving on from a left tackle, but these two are two teams that are not moving on from a veteran left tackle and don't necessarily have maybe a pick they want to use on that. I think they probably should anyway, but Tyron Smith could be a nice little a little transition piece at least for a little bit. Give him a little bit of money, give him a little bit end of his career type deal, and move on from there. Other than that, Cody Whitehair is the guard, or at least was the guard in Chicago. I think that the two easiest teams for me who have really capable running offenses that could really use the help are the Miami Dolphins at number 1 and the Jacksonville Jaguars. There's a couple other teams. I think I thought about the Tennessee Titans being there. I think I thought of the Tennessee Titans for tackle as well because they also need big help. But I think the Dolphins and Jaguars make the most sense. Dolphins and Jags both have a decent amount of money to spend for Cody Whitehair. They both just need to fill the slot in for a little bit. And again, I don't know if they really would want to use one of their first rounds or second rounds or anything like that to substitute the guard position they now have vacant. So I think the Dolphins would especially benefit from this, but Jacksonville is also a nice close second for that position there. Other than that, that is pretty much it for this video. Thank you guys for watching. Tune in for the next part, so it'll probably be running backs, tight ends, something like that, and then we'll go do a defensive episode or something. I don't know. We'll figure that out in the future. Hope you enjoyed the nice little short video. StraightA, Dawson, out.